According to law, it is divided into two separate streams, or, as it is also said, there occurs in this river a dividing of the waters. All the water of one stream, soon after passing this place, flows into a still more level valley, and with no surrounding what is called majestic and picturesque scenery to hinder it, ultimately flows into the vast ocean. The second stream, continuing its flow over places formed by the consequences of the said cataclysm not according to law, ultimately falls into crevices in the earth, themselves also consequences of the same cataclysm, and seeps into the very depths of the earth. Although after the branching of the waters of both these streams flow further independently and no longer mingle, yet along the extent of their further course, they frequently approach so near each other that all the results engendered from the process of their flowing blend, and even at times during great atmospheric phenomena such as storms, winds, and so on, splashes of water or even separate drops pass from one stream into the other. Individually, the life of man, up to his reaching responsible age, corresponds to a drop of water in the initial flow of the river. And the place where the dividing of the waters occurs corresponds to the time when he attains adulthood. After this branching, any considerable subsequent movement according to law, both of this river as well as of any of the small details of this movement for the actualization of the predetermined destination of the whole river, applies equally to every separate drop, just insofar as the given drop is in the general totality of this river. For the drop itself, all its own displacements, directions, and states, caused by the differences of its position, by its various accidentally arisen surrounding conditions, and by the accelerated or retarded tempo of its movement, have always a totally accidental character. For the drops, there is not a separate predetermination of their personal fate. A predetermined fate is for the whole river only. At the beginning of the flow of the river, the lives of drops are here one moment, there the next moment, and a moment later they might not at all be as they are, but splashed out of the river and evaporated. And so, when on account of the unbecoming life of people, great nature was constrained to engender the corresponding in their common presences, then from that time on it was so established for the purposes of the common actualizing of everything existing that human life in general on the earth should flow in two streams, and great nature foresaw and gradually fixed in the details of her common actualization such a corresponding law conformableness, that in the drops of the water of the initial flow of the river of life, which have corresponding inner subjective what are called struggles of one's own self-denial, there might arise or not arise that something, thanks to which certain properties are acquired, giving the possibility, at the place of the branching of the waters of the river of life, of entering one or the other stream. This something, which in the common presence of a drop of water is a factor actualizing in it the property corresponding to one or another of the streams, is in the common presence of each man who attains responsible age, that I, which was referred to in today's lecture. A man who has in his common presence his own I enters one of the streams of the river of life, and the man who has not enters the other. The subsequent fate of any drop in the general river of life is determined at the dividing of the waters, according to the stream the drop happens to enter. And it is determined, as has already been said, by the fact that one of these two streams ultimately empties itself into the ocean, that is, into that sphere of general nature which often has what is called repeated reciprocal exchange of substances between great cosmic concentrations. through the process of what is called Chancha, a part of which process, by the way, contemporary people name cyclone, in consequence of which this drop of water has the possibility to evolve, as it is, to the next higher concentration. And at the end of the flow of the other stream, as has already been said, into the crevices of the Earth's nether regions, where it participates in the continuous process called involutionary construction, which proceeds within the planet, it is transformed into steam and distributed into corresponding spheres of new arisings. After the branching of the water, great and small successive law conformablenesses and details for the outer movement for the purpose of actualizing the predetermined destination of both streams also ensue from these same cosmic laws. But only the results ensuing from them are, so to say, subjectivized for both streams correspondingly. And although they begin to function independently, yet all the time they mutually assist and sustain each other. These subjectivized second-grade results, issuing from fundamental cosmic laws, sometimes function side by side, sometimes collide or cross, but never mix. The actions of these subjectivized second-grade results can sometimes, under certain surrounding conditions, spread all over the separate drops. For us contemporary people, the chief evil is that we, thanks to various conditions of our ordinary existence established by us ourselves, chiefly in consequence of the abnormal what is called education, attaining responsible age and acquiring presences which correspond only to that stream of the river of life which ultimately empties itself into the nether regions, enter it, and are carried along where and whither it wills. And without pondering about the consequences, we remain passive, and, submitting to the flow, drift on and on. As long as we remain passive, not only shall we have inevitably to serve solely as a means of nature's involutionary and evolutionary construction, but also for the rest of our lives we shall have to submit slavishly to every caprice of all sorts of blind events. As most of the hearers present have already, as is said, crossed over into responsible age, and frankly cognize that until now they have not acquired their own I, and at the same time, according to the substance of all I have said here, have not pictured for themselves any particularly agreeable perspectives, then, in order that you, just you who cognize this, should not be greatly, as is said, disheartened, and should not fall into the usual what is called pessimism, everywhere prevalent in the contemporary abnormal life of people, I say quite frankly, without any arrière-pensée, that according to my convictions, which have been formed thanks to long years of investigations strengthened by numerous quite exceptionally conducted experiments on the results of which are based the Institute for the Harmonious Development of Man, founded by me, even for you it is not yet too late. The point is that the said investigation and experiments showed me very clearly and very definitely that in everything under the care of Mother Nature, the possibility is foreseen for beings to acquire the kernel of their essence, that is to say, their own I, even after the beginning of their responsible age also. The foresight of just Mother Nature consists in the